And let me do one quick thing here and oops, I need to make a couple of co-hosts here. And where is Robert? Where are you, Robert?
You making me a co-host?
I'm making you a co-host.
He's driving.
Oh, never mind. I won't make you a co-host until you get to your house. When you're going to get to your house?
In about 10 minutes.
Okay. We'll start real slow.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We didn't say hi to Helga, incognito as usual. So.
Of course.
All right. Let's start off with it's May the 16th, 2024. I want to welcome everybody to our May exhibit and comment night. I want to welcome our newest member, Tori, who joined us on Saturday night. So she got to experience some of us firsthand, very brave. And she came back to the meeting, so that's a good thing. And then we have a guest, Lori, who has stopped by tonight to check us out, and hopefully we don't scare her away and she'll want to come back. So, but anyway, thanks to guys coming in, and thanks for everybody else to come tonight. I know this is the year things start less and less people at our meetings because people have other things going on, in the summer months. So glad to see everybody that's here tonight. A couple of announcements that we have. The assignments coming up for the next 3 months. June is dancers of any kind. So use your creative imagination with your dancers. If you want to look at the description that Jim put in on the website, go ahead and do that. It's about a paragraph long, so take a look at it. July, the assignment is going to be a short video, and we'll talk about that in a minute. August is going to be creative bokeh. So in that line, we're going to have education nights, which will get us get it so that a better grasp of what we're looking for on these things. So next week, Jim is going to be doing the education night is going to be creating a short video. So he will give us the basics to take, download and edit your video in a short amount of, he's going to do it in 90 minutes or so. So it's going to be very basic, but it'll be enough so you can create this video for your assignment, which it's going to be, it needs to be a short video, no more than a minute to 90 seconds. So it's a short video. And then in June, our education night will be Alan Shapiro, who we had last year. He's a great food photographer, but he's also one of the top street photographers out there, and was taught by Jay Maisel, who is the street United States. So July, the education night's going to be on creative bokeh, which will get you ready for the August assignment. And that will be given by Jackie Kramer, who, if you guys remember, was our very first speaker on Zoom when we switched over Zoom 4 years ago. So Jackie does a really good session on creative bokeh. She has a lot of cool ideas of how to get some different bokeh behind your flowers and other things like that, and small stuff. So that's what the education night in July will be. Just wanted to mention that we had our outing on Saturday night. For those that didn't get to go with us, we had a great evening. It was cool. We didn't get, the cops came and checked us out and said everything was great. And we wandered around the building and around the campus, around, because there's water all the way around the building pretty much. And I think we were there, we had daylight, we had blue hour, and then we had some night. We stuck around till about 10:15 or so, waiting for the aurora, and we never got to see it. So
that's too bad. Did anybody see it?
Did anybody see
we saw it in pictures and somebody else's pictures.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures. For those of you that were there on Saturday night, though, please send me up to 3 images before June the 11th, and I sent out an email earlier today on that. Only 3, because I'm the pictures are going to be a lot alike, because we're kind of in a condensed area there. So I didn't want to have a whole giant slideshow of a bunch of the same thing. So just send me 3 of whatever you want out of that, out of your, the shoot for that evening. And please put on the subject line that it's the FPU, Florida Polytechnic University outing, so that I know, differentiate those from the next batch of stuff coming in for next month's exhibition. I'll put on your calendars March the 21st and the 20th through the 23rd of 2025. That's March 21st through the 23rd of 2025 is going to be our next photo camp.
Oh,
So we have to book this 11 months in advance, because the state parks book up pretty quickly. So we were able to get we moved it to this year to Tillis Hill Recreation Area, which it's been a few years since we've been there, but the nice place think about that is fairly, the spots, the campsites are big. You can bring in either a tent or an RV. So we've been limited to tents for the last 3 or 4 years. Now we can actually, if somebody's got an RV, they can bring in the RV as well. We'll obviously send out a lot of information about that later on, but I wanted you to get that on your calendar. The Saturday photo walk that we normally do, so a lot of people come just on Saturday and then come home, is going to be at Homosassa Springs, which is another one of the state parks that's about 30 minutes from Tillis Hill. And it's got, it's sort of a zoo. So it's a zoo kind of in Florida-y kind of environment. So and it's, it's just something to do on a Saturday morning that's not hanging around at home. So we can have some fun there. But anyway, I will send out a lot more information about this way closer to March of next year, but just wanted to let you know the date that we had set up. The campsites have already been rented. So we have got 5 campsites, and there are those that have been there before, the same spot, which is, there's a big loop. You drive a loop into the campgrounds, and we have the last 3 on the right-hand side and the last 2 on the left-hand side. So they're right across from each other. So
what was the date again, Lynn?
March the 21st through the 23rd.
Thank you.
Lynn, is that where that quarry was?
Yes.
Yes, there is a limestone quarry there, an
Yeah.
old, from the 1920s limestone quarry.
Yeah, that's what I was
We
trying to-
went down in, some of us went
Yeah,
down.
we went into there.
Yeah.
Is that the one where they have the horses?
No.
No, that's different. Okay.
No. Oh, no, there were horses there that one time we were there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because people
Mhm.
can't bring their horses to camp there.
Yeah.
So there might have been horses, but it's not a horse
Yeah.
place.
Yes, it is.
You can bring your horse to
Actually,
Tillis Hill. They have stables there. You can
They
put
do.
your
They
horse
have-
in a stable if you bring it there.
Yeah, they have 3 stables, and unfortunately, what's happening is the equestrians can't get reservations because everybody else is taking up the campsites and the stalls are sitting there empty. So, just a little note from the equestrians.
Yeah, that's thanks to the pandemic. Everybody is going camping now. Before nobody went camping, but now everybody goes camping. Looks like we have another new person here, a visitor, Lynna, or Lynn. So welcome. We have not planned any other outings for the next few weeks. We're trying to work on some because it's starting to get hot and buggy out there. We're working on some indoor stuff or night stuff. We'll send out an announcement once we have tied down some dates in some places. Although, just FYI, the flower fields on McIntosh are close to being blooming. I don't like to make a date without knowing what's happening with them. And, like last year, I think we had 2 days or 3 days notice. But that's kind of, with a flower field, that's kind of what you have to do. So I don't know, are you guys interested in doing the flower field again?
Yeah, what kind of flowers, Lynn?
Well, there's sunflowers primarily, but they have,
Already?
yeah, well, yeah. Once they're ready, they're not there yet, but once they're ready, which should be in the next few weeks.
I'm in.
Yeah, so I mean, if people are interested in, I'll go ahead and what they usually do is they charge us $100 for the group, and then we divide it up amongst whoever comes, $100.
I'm out of town at the end of May. I mean, June 2nd.
Well, I can't arrange it around your schedule because it has to.
I know
rearrange
that.
around
I
as
know.
well.
I'm just saying,
I'm gonna go down there tomorrow and just check and see where they are in terms of the bloom. So, I was down there about 2 weeks ago and there wasn't much going on yet, but it could, with the rains that we've had, that'll change very quickly. So I'll let you know. Do we have any other Jim, do you have anything coming up that you want to announce?
No, I did finally last night about 3 in the morning downloaded that recorded Zoom meeting for the video stuff. So I've got that and the other one, and I'll get it uploaded to my other video server and get you the links probably, hopefully, in the wee hours of the morning tonight.
Okay, so everybody will wake up to an email from the club from Jim with all the video stuff in it. And if you guys didn't, he's had a couple of classes that he did outside the club on like Tuesday nights, and those are free. And he just shares all that great information with us. He's done the settings. He's done actually taking the images, and then I guess the next one's going to be on post processing, right?
Yeah. But what I'm doing for the club next week is a simplified, just how to get some stuff and put it together. But the next one that I'm going to do outside of that is going to be, yes, post production and editing.
Okay. Robert, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'd like to donate the $1 that you guys have donated to me for my services and give that to Jim for his services.
Okay, yeah, we volunteered to, up his pay to $1. So he's now donating to you, Jim.
Oh, okay. I'll take that $1.
Make a note of that, Mr. Secretary or Mr. Treasurer. All right. Any other comments or questions about anything at this point?
Mm-mm.
Okay. We started a couple of months ago with our monthly member monthly feature, our monthly member feature. I can't remember the name that we came up with, but we had Lee 2 months ago. Last month we had one from Jim, and this month she's not here, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. It's from Fong, and this was from her trip to Greece. So let me share my screen and do the optimize and share and pull up this. Can you see Quick Player?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hopefully the sound will work. We'll see. Why is it not running? I tried this before. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, there it goes.
It's muted.
Hey. Club.
Let me get here. All right.
That's who to find the accordion player.
Yeah, she finds them wherever she is. So I think Jim Hagan's going to do one next month. So if anybody else would like to volunteer for the next coming, months after that, let me know. This is a little long. I try to keep it like 4 minutes or less, so that we don't have to, use up a lot of our time for the comments and stuff. So, but yeah, it could be anything. It can be a body of work that you have, a project, or it can be, a trip that you went on, a leaded one on our trip to Croatia. Jim showed us his body of work. And then obviously this was Long's trip to Greece. So we did this, for those that aren't aware, we did this because we're only allowing 2 images per month now. So we're not getting to see the stuff that that you're doing other than maybe the assignments we've got. So this kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of share what you've been doing recently as well. So let me go ahead and make Robert a co-host while I'm thinking of it, now that he's back in home base.
Did she send in the QuickTime Player version of that, or did you do that?
No, that was me. I think it looks like she put it together on her phone. So
Okay. I mean, we could send this in any form, like a keynote presentation, or
yeah, however you want it, as long as I can play it, that's fine. Yeah, I've got Quick Player and I've got Keynote as well. I also have a PowerPoint. So however you want to do it is fine. I think unless anybody has any other comments or questions, we can go ahead and get started with the images for this month. Anything else? All righty, I'll share again, bring up my Lightroom.
Who is our third judge this month, Lynn?
It was Nona.
Okay.
Let's see here, Lightroom, where are you? There you are. Can you see Lightroom?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let me get the score sheet up. Get this out of the way. All right. Now I'm situated. Sort of. Okay. Score sheet. Here we go. All right. Are we ready, guys? Robert, Jim, Nona?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. The assignment this month was shadows, creative use of shadows. And so our first one is welcoming shadows. And this picture was Jim McWilliam, and the score is 22.8.
All right. I'll give you a second to look at this. I just wanted to do a mic check. Am I up?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just switched over to computers. Jim, there's a lot going on in this particular photograph. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of light and shadow, except that the shadows are not that prominent to say that this is about the shadows as a main subject. Your thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, I agree. Other than the fact that this is entered in a in an assignment of shadows, I would not look at this picture and think that the shadows are an important element to the composition. And actually, where it says "welcome" in the floor, that's not shadows. That's a reflection. That's not even shadows.
oops,
Whoops.
oops.
This is at the airport. This is just prior, or right at sunrise. I had been there at another time, and it cast, well, what I thought were shadows, but the center of it was blown out because that's where the sun was. So
Yeah.
I went back there on a different day, at an earlier time. But as it was pointed out, the shadows are a lot more muted.
Yeah.
Shadows, aka reflections, are a lot more muted.
You gotta watch out for those reflections. They'll get you every time.
Because the light was right behind them. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's when you got a shiny surface that the shadow is on, you got to be careful because it's going to be a reflection. So
maybe it's both.
yeah, true.
Yeah, no, it is both. It's just that it's more of one than the other.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I just for the sake of argument, just crop it all the way down to the word welcome. Yeah, once you do that, just come down to just welcome, just below that little, and come up. I'm a little more inclined to see more shadowy that way with a contrast because I just don't get the feel of shadow. And we're gonna see this repeated a number of times where the subject itself is a good shot, but the subject is not shadows.
To make a bad pun, there's a lot where the subject overshadows the shadows.
Yeah, that's it. It overshadows.
We'll be here all week, folks.
Okay.
No, I'm going to be here to 9:15. You can be here all week.
All right, moving on. Next one is Pine Cone in shadow. And this is Diana Rouse, and the score is 23.5.
Now, Diana, I want to know why this background isn't straight.
Yeah, it goes up.
Now, the question I have with respect to that line in the background is there a reason why it cuts through the very top sliver of the pine cone as opposed to raising the camera angle just slightly to keep the pine cone within the level surface and not having that hard line cut right through the very tippy top of the pine cone?
Yeah, and you would have gotten a bigger shadow if the camera was higher as well.
Oh, wait a minute. This is weird. I don't hear from Diane.
Diana, where are you?
She's muted.
I'm muted. Sorry. I had a really hard time with this assignment. I have to be honest with you. I did it indoors, and my background looks different than yours. I mean, the line is still there. I'm not arguing with that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't move the pine cone. It was on a table, and the background was the wall.
Yeah. I'm just saying, elevate the camera and point down. Just elevate the camera to keep the pine cone, or even move the pine cone closer to the camera to keep it contained, within the table or whatever it's set on for that line not to go. I actually, in that case, I would not have an issue with the line being slanted, that kind of follows the shadow
what
of the pine
that's kind
cone.
of what I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, it follows the direction of the shadow of the pine cone,
Yeah.
and the shadow is very strong. I like what you did, what you were doing there with that. It's just that like I say, just the technical issue of the line through the top of that.
Yeah.
See, I just,
Yeah.
did you see what I did, Diana?
You know
I-
what, Lynn? And on my screen, it's much blacker. So I don't know. And I've calibrated my
Yeah,
screen.
mine was calibrated this afternoon as well, so.
Yeah,
what I just did
that's
was I just-
exactly what I wanted to do was darken the background, but it wasn't as splotchy on my end.
Well, see, what I did was I put in a linear gradient, and
Yeah.
then I subtracted the subject. So it took out, because I didn't want to darken the pine.
Right, right.
So you can see there's like a
right.
little click right there, that took out the
Yeah,
subject, so it just darkened up the background. So.
Yeah, it looks much better that way, but still has the intersection problem.
Well, you can't see it though. I've made it so dark that the intersection's gone.
So Jim, if I had had the camera pointing downwards,
Just it wouldn't have taken much to raise the camera a little bit, or even push the pine cone closer to the camera a little bit. Just raise the camera a little bit, push the pine cone toward it, and point, and just a little bit downward point, and that you would have completely enclosed. The pine cone would have been completely surrounded by that background, as opposed to having that line intersecting, with the top.
yeah, got it.
Next one is a shadowy tribute to mom. It's also Diana Rouse, and the score is 22.8.
Because you don't realize that it's a shadow. Correct?
I'm so glad you pointed that out because it looks more like a logo.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's actually because I couldn't figure out, Lynn, the one that I told you that there was the other one that had the subject in it, but I sent the wrong one. But it is actually a shadow. This was a bust of an assignment for me. I knew it, as I went back to look at it, I'm like, they're not going to know that. But you know what? You know why I sent it, Lynn, too? Was because you said that it didn't have to include the subject.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
So
Right.
I didn't include the subject. This is a shadow.
But Robert.
Still looks more like a logo.
But I'm telling you, it's a shadow. So it is a shadow.
I
of-
hear what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you also the response that I'm giving you when I would see this particular image, even though it is a shadow, its organic nature looks that of a logo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another one of those cases of, outside of the fact that it's entered in an assignment for shadows, you would not present this to somebody
And say it's a shadow.
and somebody would look at
Got
it and say, oh, this is an interesting composition of a shadow.
Yep, got it. All right. For fun and giggles, Robert, I'm going to show you what I was going to send on a personal thingy.
Next
That's
one
a
is-
shadow.
Next one is Sunset Walk. This one is Lourdes's, and the score is 23.8.
This is getting better.
Nona, you can chime in here whenever you want to, my girl. You're the third judge, so you can talk.
Everybody can talk.
Anybody can talk.
Wasn't there something about the shadow being the primary subject of the photo, though?
Yes.
That's why I said this is getting better. We're not there yet, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
This could have also been a sun flare.
Yeah.
If it's a
Yeah,
sun
there is
flare.
some lens flare on it, although in this case it's not like it's not creative lens flare. It's not enhancing the image. The lens flare in this case is actually a visual distraction.
Yeah, but also under her arm.
Yeah, there's a little flare right there under the arm.
Yeah, on the right hand side there's an ugly flare.
So I'd like to crop this image top down, get rid of the buildings, and then that'll make it a little bit more about the shadows. We're gonna do
Yes.
some right in there.
I
That's
100% agree with Robert that the buildings are the buildings are totally unnecessary in this.
Yeah.
Now it's getting much better.
Yep.
I agree, though, that the sun is a distraction.
Yeah, all
Mhm.
this stuff is a distraction.
Yep.
Away from what-
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of unnecessary excess information. What was done with that crop was a huge help on that.
Next one is cranes on the driveway. This
Mhm.
one is rods, and the score is 24.1.
I want to see the feet. And maybe a little bit more contrast. I really like the image.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the diagonal composition on this, the stretch of the shape of the birds because of the elongated shadow, and this is nicely composed and well done.
A little something different.
Why do I see this being assigned again?
It won't.
It won't.
Thank goodness.
I just wondered if these, I guess they are real actual cranes. They're kind of thin legs for a, and their legs do have some shape. They're not like wire legs like a, the yard birds. I was the first one like, why are they doing shadows of flamingos? In Florida we have lots of flamingos in our yard. So
Now, the other thing about this is it's sharper at the lower end and soft at the top.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were shooting for shadows, it would be more of the top end being more of the focus point over the bottom. I'm not saying that is if I was shooting for shadows and that was the goal, it would be more focus on the top of what's happening there than on the sticks at the bottom.
The legs.
Yes.
Okay. And so this is where we started. Stand up. All right. Next one is Shadow Mask. This one is Lourdes's as well. The score is 25.3.
The same photographer that completely got it with this one.
That's what we do.
Yep, that's you took the words right out of my mouth, Brian. Yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Even though I have
Endorse.
a picture of Lee.
Yeah, that's me. That's
What
great.
did you use as a shadow thingy?
I have no, it was probably they're not here, Diana, so I'm not, it was probably some sort of thing. I don't know. I think if there's
It looks like a cucaloris.
It's
It
awesome.
could have been a little basket, or it could have been a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. That's a great shot.
It's great.
The thing about this is the thought process to actually make it happen.
Yeah.
Because this is planned.
Yeah.
The thing that
Yep.
kills me is I went online to try to get ideas, and I struck out.
I will tell you this, and I'll tell all of you this. You don't go online to get ideas. You go inside your own head.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the right drugs.
Evidently.
You are married to a doctor. You have access to all the drugs.
I get lost every time I do that.
This is awesome. This was awesome. All right.
Yeah, and the catch light, that glint
yeah,
in
and
the
his
glint in the eye,
Yeah.
is such a great bonus in that
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if he was clean shaven, it wouldn't have been, I think it would have been, it's better that he has all this hair.
Oh yeah, texture, light, shadow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is off the chart.
Yep.
Lourdes is gonna, overpower him really quick here.
See, the Lourdes is already overpowered.
Oh, she already has.
Yeah. The student is surpassing the teacher.
Yeah, that's what you want, though. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you wanted in life.
Okay, next one is a myriad of shadows. This one is Susan Huckabee's, and the score is 23.
Mm-hmm.
Susan.
Familiar.
All right, I'm going to jump on this one. Susan,
Yes.
here's what we have going on here. We are competing with color.
Was that you were going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All right, look at the difference already.
Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
you're the master.
Look, as an attorney on this case, I rest my case.
Jim?
Yep, I 100% agree. The color was too much competition for the shadows.
Yeah. Nona?
I agree too, and I like the fact that you made it look like it had more contrast in
Yeah.
the image.
I mean, anytime you eliminate the color, you're going to have to jack up the contrast just to make make it less flat. Because if you like this, it's really flat. This was just a quickie. I mean, you could do a better job than that, but that makes the shadows really stand out, especially here and then even up here a little bit. So,
Right.
all right. Next one is Bad Day on the Course.
That was me today.
This one is Rod's as well. Score is 24.1.
Now, Rod, I'm going to tell you, you're borderline erotic here.
I will say that's a heck of a good title.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Notice the club getting bent in half without the title.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and then
Yes.
there's, the ball is down here. So,
Yeah, I'm just saying, I
Yeah,
totally saw this differently.
Yeah, the title gave me the correct context to figure it out without too much pondering.
So Rod, where does this come from? Where does this image come from?
I don't think Rod's here tonight.
Oh my goodness, Rod! Now you're not here to defend yourself because I was gonna run with this one.
Yeah, again, I think the focus is actually really
Yes.
only on the ball. So
Mhm.
same thing with his birds. He focused kind of on the wrong part of. I mean, obviously the ball is important, but really be nice if this part of the shadow. A problem with shadows is they can be blurry themselves, depending.
Yeah,
on
one thing you'll see a lot with shadows is the closer the shadow is to the object that is producing it, the sharper it is.
Right.
The further it elongates and stretches away from the object that produces it, the softer the edges get.
especially if it's at an angle. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the problem too. Might not be possible to get it all in focus.
Well, I mean, just about anything is possible to get into focus.
Yeah.
Just about anything can, because you're dealing with a shadow that it has to cast somewhere off of a plane.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of where.
It can still be at an angle though.
And the surface that the shadow is being cast on also can affect the sharpness of the edges.
Yeah, I get that. And there's a little bit of chromatic aberration going on here. Am I seeing that?
Yeah,
Up
right
at the top
here.
where the flag is?
Yeah, right here. You can see
Yeah.
that blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get rid of it.
Just desaturate it and it'll go away.
Yeah, that's true. That's the easy way to do it. Whoops.
On this one it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah. So anyway, that was an interesting shadow for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next one is Wavy Shadows. This one is Susan Huckabee, and the score is 21.7.
I thought this looked more like a reflection of some sort. I couldn't figure out
And
where the shadow
and you would be right, Nona, because that's what it is. Yeah, it is a reflection.
Shadow to me, and it's taken off of my dock, and basically there's a staircase that, pardon me, is about midway out. And it just happened to be a windy day, and we're having an algae bloom, so you can see the color in there.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Yeah, as long as just remember,
Yeah,
your shadow is going to be a reflection on anything that's shiny, any surface that's shiny. So, anything else, guys?
No.
Nope. Alrighty, moving on. Next one is the Wall Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
This one is Kathy's, and the score is 22.9.
Holy banana.
Do one favor for me, Lynn.
Yeah.
There's one distracting element in this. The left edge has texture on it that you don't even have to come all the way to there, but you know that's fine too. But do you see that texture on the far left edge?
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with the rest of what's going on in the image, and you can do that with it.
Why is this a 22?
That's just what the score is.
Now, if you want to
No,
know
but
from my,
I want to know because to me those are shadows, and I'm not asking in an ugly way. I just to learn from it.
I'll tell you with me, is that I'd like for you to do an additional crop.
Okay.
Come from the top. Take that top light out. Right there. That becomes more of a shadow abstract for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a nice receding pattern now where each pattern gets smaller and smaller and smaller and follows across the frame, and you're not drawn up to the top of the frame. I really like what Robert just did with that. That's a huge improvement.
The only thing I would have done had I been creative enough to come up with that shot is I would have taken that line across the way, that horizontal line. That's really strong.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Talk to me now. I really want to know what your thinking is when you say that. Help me to understand.
I don't know. I mean, for what it's worth.
That line, you have a repeater on that. Now let's just take this and Lynn, for me, just tap the letter F for me. Let's get it full screen. I want it. Okay. If you had that one line going across, I could buy your point.
Right, but
but you have two of them. So which the second one defines the first one. And then you have two lines going north and south as well.
Right here.
All right. So those lines are now justified. And now we have, because they're justified, we have the lightest part of the shadow in the upper left going to a darker portion of the line in the lower right. And that is what makes this thing very strong. Now, I've given you my argument. Give me yours.
I don't have I mean, this is just I don't analyze it the same way you do. To me, I like that whole picture with the shadows coming across. And to me, for what it's worth, that line interferes with my enjoyment of it.
You know, hey,
and again, I mean, yeah. And again, you know, you're the experts. I'm not.
I'm not. First of all, let's understand something. This is to all people. I am not arguing with you about your choices at all. I'm just simply stating, asking you to state how is this going to make things different. If it is, great, and we can do that by just running a little one of those band-aids across it to remove it. We can do that. I just wanted I don't want like it when people say something blindly. I want you to give me a reason as to why.
Not a very good removal.
No, but I mean that gives an idea of what's going on.
Yeah. Kathy, why did you leave that there?
Oh, I thought it was a necessary part of the wall. It defined the wall and the curve in the wall.
Right.
I like the crop that you've done on it. It certainly improves the picture.
And Kathy, this was not meant in any sort of criticism at all. I mean,
I understand that.
We all understand that.
I just think it's necessary. I don't. It doesn't bother me.
Well, with the mentioning of these two lines, because of the fact that they're not exactly straight, this one's going this way. It gives a perspective to the picture, even though it's a very flat looking picture. It makes you know that the wall is going backwards. Whether if it was gone and if the line was,
the wall is actually curved.
I say, it defines the curvature of the wall as well.
I see that now.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Where does the score come from?
The score, oh,
When you
okay.
say it's
Our newbies here. This score,
Yeah,
Great.
I'm the newbie.
the images are submitted a week ago. They were submitted a week ago. And we have 3 judges. You hear Robert and Jim talking. They're 2 professionals. And then every month, a different member is the 3rd judge. They prejudge everything with a score
Okay.
from 6 to 9. And then
Okay.
what you're hearing is the composite score between the 3. So,
Okay.
there's no competition here. It's just a score for each individual image, and it all comes together at the end of the year. So there's awards at the end of the year for, the conglomerate score. So with a lot of other things going on. So if you're interested, I can answer questions later, or you can actually, it's all written up how it all works on our website.
Okay.
Before you move on,
Thank
who asked the
you.
question?
Yeah.
So since there's 2 new people, you should mention the extra point for the assigned. You didn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but who asked the question?
Tori.
Lori.
I did.
Oh, Tori, here's what I want you to know. That exchange that just happened between Diana and me, it's all for the purpose of everyone to learn. It is not an argument or being argumentative. It's for the purpose of learning.
Yep.
Right.
That's what it's
learning.
that's what we're all about. That everyone gets educated. You're not going to find any fighting here.
Yeah, this is a forum. If you have an opinion, we like you to not only express your opinion, but what's behind that opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And that helps everybody learn and see from different perspectives.
Right.
That's why we make the changes, because you could talk about it all day long, and to see it we're visual people, or we wouldn't be photographers. So to see what we're talking about makes all the difference in the world. So
I want to add something too. When we're talking about Robert, it's not really if he has an opinion, it's going to be when.
Well, we all have opinions, or it's not that we don't have them. We all have them. Anyway, let's move on, guys. It's almost 8 o'clock. The next one is Early Morning in Badlands. And this one is also Kathy's, and the score is 22.4.
I'm going to say this. The shadows define the landscape, but the shadows don't define the composition. I see it as, it's a landscape photo that the shadows enhance the landscape. Not so much that it's about the shadows, unless you want to crop that whole mountain off the back and just give me those shadows in the foreground.
Yeah, I had a love-hate relationship with this photo.
Something like that.
A little lower. Get that piece of sky out of there.
Didn't go far enough. Sorry.
Now I have a picture that's about shadows.
Yeah.
I think the tint is a little bit green on this.
Yeah, it is this little color, weird color here. I don't know if I can fix that or not in the time we have here.
Yeah. Put your eyedropper in the shadow, see what happens.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
Yeah, that's better. It's a little bright here.
The shadow doesn't necessarily have to be a reflection of the subject?
No.
Well,
shadows
I
are
mean,
is of
it
the
is. I
mountain.
mean, you just can't see the subject, because you can't have a shadow without a subject. But you can't see the subject here. So.
See why I do birds?
And now in this case, if this were the image submitted, I would just say, well, then just give me the rest of the top shadow. On the left side. On the left side. See, you have from foreground to background, you have a point, then you have a point, then you have a little point, and then you have a chop.
Yeah.
However, let's say, it'll give me that, and this would have been much more, in line with the parameters of the assignment, with the whole big formation in the background. It becomes, yes, we know shadows define the structure of things. This is why early light is great, but it's a case of, yes, the shadows are doing a good job of defining the 3-dimensionality of the landscape, but it's not a composition about showing me, a composition about shadows, with shadows being the main element of the image.
Yeah, I get that.
All right, next one is he's back. This one's
Wilson!
Sylvia has weird sensitivity, and the score is 22.7.
Except that isn't a soccer ball. That's not, it should have been a soccer ball.
Oh, geez. He metamorphosed in the,
I thought Wilson in the movie was a volleyball.
he was.
Was it a volleyball? I thought
Yeah,
it was.
it was a volleyball in the movie.
Okay, I stand corrected.
This is a picture of a ball that has a shadow, not a picture of a shadow.
I agree, Brian. If somebody just showed me this picture, I would just think the shadow is incidental to it being a picture of a ball.
Yeah, that's fair. I realized that when I got ready to post it, and I thought, it's really more about the ball than it is the shadow. But
And now outside of the parameters of the competition, this is a really cool graphic image.
Yeah. I mean, if you did something like that, would it be better?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I want.
It's actually a very simple, very striking, image with a lot of visual impact. As far as that goes, it's great. As far as it being the subject being shadows, that's not the case.
Right. I can't argue with that. I was channeling Jim McWilliams to be witty. I was trying to be witty like Jim McWilliams.
You succeeded.
Next one is, oops, I didn't look at the title. The next one is Solitude, and this is also by Sylvia, and the score is 23.2.
Yeah, this is better. The shadows play a much more prominent,
Right here.
part in the composition of this. There's two sets of shadows going on in here. Yep, those overall diagonal lines are very nice.
Robert?
I want to know if you had control of the light.
It was coming through the window, through the verticals. I guess I could have adjusted the verticals differently.
Okay, now that's not it. It is the point source of the light and the height of the light. The same was on your last shot. The light being a little bit lower in the scene would create a longer shadow.
You're talking on the flower?
Yeah, on the flower, yes.
So, I mean, was there a separate light, Sylvia, for the flower?
No, it was just all late afternoon window light coming through. So I didn't really have.
Yeah, everything's coming through vertical blinds on the left.
Yes, because that's why the shadow's going this way.
Yeah,
this light.
very nice idea. And I get what Robert's saying. Yeah, if the sun were lower, and casting a longer shadow.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
It's not an indictment. It's a very beautiful shot.
Yep.
No, I understand what you're saying. If I had just maybe waited and shot it at a little later time, the light would have been different. That would have been what I was.
So this was done late afternoon, early evening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Late afternoon, I believe, yes.
Yeah, because this is fine, but like I say, as Robert says, the room for improvement in this is to stretch that shadow out along those diagonals of the vertical blinds, and and elongate that along with those other long lines. That's the room for improvement.
Of the shadow of the flower itself.
Yes, the shadow of the flower itself stretching more along the other lines.
The lower the sun is, the more of a diagonal it should be at. So
the longer the shadows will go, the lower the light source goes. In this case, being the sun. But yeah, very very nice concept, and and like I said, and as Robert says, there's the room to expand on that.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Next one is Spartan's Shadows. This one is Jim McWilliam, and the score is 22.1.
Jim McWilliams,
You,
you and I are friends.
Not a good start.
I'd like for us to stay friends.
I would too, yes.
So I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one.
No, yeah, I mean, listening to the dialogue so far, I'd crop it way in from the right.
Yep.
And maybe even part of the statue. See, I didn't want to do that on the left because it was so close to the edge,
No. It's a little better.
but possibly part of the statue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a little bit of help. But, again, this is one of those, as we said before, I look at this as a picture of a statue, and it just incidentally has a shadow because it's in daylight.
That's what's happening.
I mean,
you understand.
You can cut this off, Jim, and then take it into Photoshop and add some, add some real estate over here really easily with a new expand, AI expand. So
maybe put a victim in front of them or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Wilson in front of
AI, yeah, with the generative AI, you could actually add somebody that he could be stabbing, and you could make it a shadow. The only problem is he kind of looks pregnant here.
Yes. So Jim,
Take it up with the University of Tampa.
There you go.
I appreciate the comments.
Yeah, Diana had a question.
yeah,
for you.
Jim Sykes or Robert. So I'm looking at all the comments that you're saying. This is the subject that just happened to have a shadow. Going back to my blown pine cone, was that a subject that just happened to have a shadow?
Well, the difference is, I was going to say about your shot, the same thing is that a little lower on the light source would have elongated the shadow. Now, the difference between your shadow and Sylvia's shadow on the ball was that the ball and the shadow had the same amount of space.
Okay.
So that the shadow on the ball was just, they were just one and the other. In your case, a little longer shadow, and then the taken away from that line going through it would have made an excellent photograph. But it's a matter
in
of
this
controlling
case,
the light.
Yeah, the shadow isn't even in this case. The light is getting low enough that shadow is no longer an exact representation of that pine cone anymore. It's taken on its own life, its own shape. It's becoming its own thing, independent from the pine cone. Whereas you look like it at Jim McWilliams' shot just then, or the basketball shot. It's pretty much just a copy of the subject. Therefore, it gains no interest of its own being a shadow.
Right. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Next one is Color Lily.
And
This is
where
wait. This is Fong's, and the score is 21.8.
Mm-hmm. And Diane, I'm gonna challenge you. Which one has prominence here? The shadow or the flower?
The flower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A flower.
No, I mean, in this one, it was obvious to me. In the other ones, I was trying to figure out what define it a little bit better. I kind of wish you do assign this again. I want to crack at it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's better, but
wait a minute. Did you say you want a crack at it?
Another crack at it.
Thank you, Jim Sykes.
Another crack at it. You're right.
Yeah. So this one, and it is a shadow, but again, it's probably a reflection as well.
It's incidental to the just incidental to what the photograph is actually about.
Right. Next, this is Feathered.
Ooh, that's nice.
This one is mine, and the score is 23.5.
See, in this case, the shadows are leaving gaps between them that it looks like birds in flight. You can look at this and
Yeah.
and put
Yeah.
your own imagination into it. This works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. I did a lot of these, and this was the one that I liked the most.
What was this, Lynn?
It was a plant. And the dark spots, obviously where the shadows are, were the leaves. But I like the fact that the shape of the sun coming through was almost the same as the shape that the leaves were making as a shadow. So
And it's on a tree or on a
on the
ground?
sidewalk.
On the
The
sidewalk.
sidewalk. The plant is over here to the right.
And it was overhanging the.
Yeah, it was overhanging the sidewalk.
Okay, got it. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Small story, just a tiny one. When I first got into photography, I entered one of those national contests, and I entered an image of a shadow of two black guys walking wherever. But I shot the photograph on the sidewalk, and you just saw the outline. And they had about, I think, 10,000, 12,000 entries in there, and I got 4th place in that. And it was all about shadows. And here's what I want you to know. Because I got placed in that particular thing, over 10,000 entries, that's what made me decide to stay in photography. And this is why I'm here to critique your stuff today.
Do me one favor with this one, just to see it real quick. Just pull in just from that top left corner where the big blob of light is, and just eliminate part of that. Yeah, there we go. You don't have to cut the that top. The next. Yeah, there you go. The next thing in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It was just
I
kinda
will say that there was a sidewalk crack in here, which I did take out because it was competing with this, with the
Yes,
line.
I get it. Would have competed with the stem. Yeah. No, that's nice. That's
Thanks.
well executed.
Next one is backlit broom. And this was Richards, and the score is 24.2. All I can think of is the Sorceress's Apprentice.
Yeah. All right. Do some cropping for me, Lynn.
Okay.
Come in from the right where that extra shadow is coming across. All right, stop. And now come down from the top right into the bristles all the way down to where that diagonal line, make that whole diagonal line behind the broom. Just keep going a little more. Keep going. Keep going. Stop right there. Let me see that. Ah.
Yeah.
There.
Now it's about the shadow.
You see how much stuff went away that wasn't part of the story?
This is leading to my.
I mean, I found that all that bright light very distracting, but this crop, I think I'd have a hard time telling it was a broom.
That's okay.
Why does it need to be told that it's a broom?
Right.
Yeah.
This is an interesting geometric composition.
Yeah.
Abstract is a fine thing to have in photography.
Even leaving the top of the broom in doesn't work. The curve.
It's above that other diagonal line. We can look at it and see, but it's so bright up there. That whole bright area competes with the shadow.
Yeah.
The shadow.
I think if you write it down like from the top or bring it up from the bottom a little bit and on the sides, just so where the shadow is and the white part in the broom, it looked like an arrow kind of thing.
No, that would
be more.
You still got a bright spot in the upper left corner, and it's distraction.
No, bring it in from both sides too.
There you go.
More. More.
I think that cuts it off too much. I think.
Yeah.
I would have.
Is this Richard shot?
Yeah, it's Richard.
Yes.
All right, Richard. Let me at least chime in with my little 2 cents. All right, and this is what I want you guys to know, at least how I'm seeing this on there. Your shadow and your subject above your shadow has the same weight and have the same size. I would like in this particular photograph for you to have more at the bottom, a longer shadow, so that it becomes more about the shadow than about just the broom itself. In fact, I will tell you that if you had a longer shadow, meaning more at the bottom, longer shadow, I could compete with some of the lighter portions of this image. But what you gave me was the broom and the shadow have the same amount of space. So one is neither greater than or less than, but because the brighter portion in the upper third of the image carries so much weight, the shadow almost becomes insignificant. It's a great idea going on in there, but it's just not enough in the bottom half to carry the shadow.
That's not what I wanted to do. Not.
Your thoughts back at me, please.
I did. I already darkened the top, and I thought when I originally shot this, it wasn't. It was a picture of a broom, and the shadow was part of the composition. I like the diagonals, the two diagonals, one
Great.
coming in and coming out. I like the curve of the broom.
I ain't mad at you there either. I'm mad at you on the shadow.
And here's the other thing that I'm going to say: if we're going to keep any of the top part, you've got to come down below. There's another area sticking out of the broom. Yes, that you've got to at least come below that piece that's competing with the line of the broom handle.
And pull it in from the right.
Yeah, that extra shadow on the right is got to go away. There you go.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, that.
Now, I need to know, Richard, do you get what I mean about equal weight? They're both the same.
Yeah. Right.
That's actually better black and white too.
And Lynn, I liked when you darkened the back a little.
Yeah, I just was looking, it was doing a weird thing. I know with the combination of colors back there, but I think I like it better black and white, because then this is not quite as noticeable, this line here.
Now, if you darken it with it being black and white, those weird colors won't be there.
Yeah, that's true. Let's try it.
Anyway.
Just darken it just a tad. Yeah, see, it just, I don't know, just.
I think if to what Robert said, if you and Richard liked the curve and stuff, if the shadow had been longer, you could have left that part in the top.
And Lynn, don't forget when you do that, take the whites slider and move it to the left as well, not just the exposure slider. Yeah.
Then it just sort of looks like this is wrong down here. I don't know, it doesn't look right to me. Whatever.
I will give you one more thing with that particular image. If Lynn, I only ask that you run a brush across the bottom where the broom and the ground meets. Run a brush across that. Okay. And then in that, I only want you to bring up the highlights in that portion.
Bring it up?
Yeah, I want you to bring it up to make it brighter, and bring the exposure up to make it brighter. So we know that there's a point of change there. And it'll be a little thinner line, but something to give a.
That's too much. Too many.
It's just on the white portion of it, and it's a thin line. But the point I'm making is that you're bringing up the value there, so that those white areas become brighter and the dark areas become darker.
Right here. Right.
And I will tell you, Richard, we are bastardizing your shot. I see it in your brain.
Now, it was a great idea. It just needs to go a little further, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sylvia's shadow.
Truth is, I took this before this assignment came. You're not longer, but a couple of weeks before the assignment was made. So, and I looked through my things and I said, I think this one works for that.
Okay,
And
moving
in
on.
that situation, I had no alternative to lengthen even if I did know, I had no, my foot was just about where that shadow ends. So,
Now, I will give you something. I'll give all of you something. Jim and I both are, as been noted, as the professionals, which means we apply an assignment once it's given, as opposed to an archive. And there's not something against anybody in this deal, but the assignment given, that becomes the challenge.
Yes, we'd like you to think of it that way when it's an assignment, to think, oh, okay, let me think of something I can do for that. Not necessarily, oh, let me dig through my archives and see if I find something that that might fit.
Although you can do that if you
can do that, because there are cases where the assignment is something that you do, as a thing, and you are going to have good examples, of that. But if it's not something that you do creatively, then it's a stretch, and it shows sometimes that it's a stretch if you go digging and just find something that happens to match up with what the assignment says it's supposed to be. Oh, I found something with a shadow, or whatever.
And also, we published this list way in advance. I mean, you've got a whole year with some of these things. So I personally keep these assignments in my mind, and I'm looking for these things as I'm out shooting whatever. And that's, the shadow that I created, that was because I knew that shadows was coming up eventually. So, that's the other issue. Know what's coming up in terms of assignments, and then you can utilize some of the situations that you get into out in the world as you are traveling around and doing your thing around here as well. So
before you move on, Jack Maniscalco, what are your thoughts on what was just said?
I think. Am I? Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Well, I think that if what Lynn just said is what happens to me is I'll be shooting somewhere, doing something, and then it comes to, I see something that's going to fit for a couple of weeks down the line, or down a couple of months down the line, and I'll take it then and save it to work on it for that assignment. Right. To pull something out of the library is less of a challenge. Let's put it that way. It's squeezing a square peg into a round hole sometimes. You make it work. And that may be a tribute to your artistic abilities and how to manipulate Photoshop. But
and yeah, that's like I said.
It's a greater challenge to your creative abilities to get out, get the assignment in your head, and go out looking for that assignment. That's a challenge to your creative abilities, as opposed to backing into it by finding something in your library. But I think it's valid. If you pull something out of your library that you took several weeks ago or several months ago, with the intent of saving it for shadows, that's valid.
Yeah, and there are cases where we'll give an assignment, say infrared or macro or landscape, and you're an infrared photographer. You do a lot of infrared photography. Yeah, you are going to have some good examples of that in your library. You do a lot of macro photography. We hand out a macro assignment. Yeah, you do have a ready-made pool of images to choose from if you enjoy macro photography and do a lot of it. The point of some of these challenges is to throw things at people that are outside of their box and make them think and be creative about it. And and sometimes it comes down to the last minute and people are like, oh, I want to enter something, let me dig.
Let me put a final period on this.
Guilty as charged.
Let me put a final period on this. All the entries that are in here, they all qualify, and it's great. And I know that from this day forward, you all are going to approach shadows very differently than you've done prior to this moment.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
And that's the point.
Alan agrees with me 100%. I saw the smile.
I think we've encountered another minimalism assignment.
Oh God.
Yeah, that yes.
We're running out of time, people.
Yeah, let's get moving. All right, the next one is street art. And this one is Karen's, and the score is 23.1.
The interplay of the shadow and the texture is wonderful in this.
Karen,
Very nice.
are these Spanish trees?
Yes, they are.
Make it even better. It's Spanish.
How would this do in black and white?
Yeah, I
Lynn?
was thinking that too. Although the yellow is nice.
Yeah, I like the yellows in there.
Yeah. The fact
I
that it
just-
is just one color of color.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
like it
Yeah,
better.
yeah, it has much more visual impact with the color in this case. It's not if it were multiple colors, that could be a distraction. But this this works.
Yellow's
This works
great.
well.
It's better, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a cool
I agree.
I only ask that you do one simple thing with this.
Yeah.
Give me a radio right in the area, the darkest area of the photograph.
Right here.
Yes. And bring that value up a little bit. Make your inner circle a lot smaller. The inner circle smaller. And the outer circle a lot bigger. Good. Inner circle a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. Good. Now bring the values up. Just to even it out, just in that area right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Use your shadow slider.
Yeah.
There, that's the one.
Now see, I kept going to that one dark area that was not getting me to enjoy all the rest of the shadows.
Yeah. Would you leave this one here down at the bottom?
I dodged that as well.
Yeah. Because you have all these beautiful lines, but then you just have this one dark space or two dark spaces.
There you go.
Wow.
There. Nicely improved. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
Where was this trees, Karen?
Yeah, reflection on the wall from the trees.
On a wall, huh?
Karen, you're not mad at me, are you?
No, sir.
all right.
Richard is trying to fire me right now.
He's
All right,
texting me like crazy.
Moving on, guys. Conversation on the plaza. This one is also Karen. Score is 23.
Karen,
Yes.
you know why this image is not working as well as the last one?
If I did, I wouldn't put it in here.
All right. You see the hand gesture, correct?
Yes, that's why I put it in. Yeah.
All right, great, wonderful. You see the person on the right-hand camera upper right, yes?
Yes.
The person on the left is one big blob. I have no definition of what's happening there.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a, I don't know, monster.
Yes.
There's on the upper person, there's an awkwardly placed lower hand.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Now this is an example that this shadow does show, example wise, what I was talking about earlier about the shadow being more crisp and defined and sharp, closer to the object that's casting it, to look to the right hand side. See how sharp the shadow edges are, and then as it travels away, see how soft the shadows become at the tops of the heads. That's just a normal thing that happens with elongated shadows.
Correct.
So what caused the definition to be not so on the left?
Because Karen did not wait until they got into a fight.
Hey, that awkwardly placed hand is the other one.
Yeah.
This is more,
What I'm saying is, where should the light have hit it? Where I'm geometrically challenged, so
well, I mean, take a look at that. It's more of the person's movement. Had the person moved their head forward or something?
It's the pose that that person right there. There's something sticking out of where you would expect to see their face. There's some object, maybe another hand. I don't know what that is. There's an object sticking out of where you would expect to have a well-defined head.
Yeah.
That you would want a well-defined head there to to help complete this story.
Maybe I should have just cut her out and just done the other
Wait,
one.
is that the camera?
What's this?
Is that the camera being held up to the face?
No, her.
Okay, so that okay. Nope.
She's got a backpack on and she's got something on her head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's the part about it. There are more questions about that person on the left than about the picture as a whole.
Okay.
So that's where it falls.
Okay.
It fell on the ground and it became shadowy.
Okay, next one is Palm Tree and Franz. This one is Sue Harvey, and the score is 22.
Let's see. What are the numbers on this? The exposure numbers. Give me that. There's something about this. What are the numbers?
F22. 1,250th a second and 50 millimeters.
Okay. Yeah, 120 ISO 800. Wow.
800 ISO,
F22. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of softness out of this image that I don't think I need. And that's why I was wondering about it.
And there again, that's because the distance of the palm fronds to up in the air to the sidewalk, again, where that distance creates the softness. Whereas if you look down the trunk closer to the bottom, again, see how sharp it is there, but those fronds are way up in the air, and therefore they're going to cast a softer shadow.
Well, look at where the focus point is, though, Jim. That's what I'm saying. It's down in the bottom area.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine if I was going to flip it, I'd flip it so my focus point is more to the top and let the bottom part.
Do me a favor, Lynn.
Yeah.
Zoom in on the plants in the upper right-hand corner.
It's just, here, let's go to 100%. They're not in focus. I mean,
okay, that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I wanted to see.
And that was all I'm saying, because the ones at the bottom are much sharper. So that defines the focus point. And I understand what you're saying about the fall off, but I'm going according to the texture of the ground itself.
Yeah, it's diffraction.
Yeah, that's why I asked about the numbers. It's exactly why I asked about the numbers at F22.
Yeah. So Sue Harvey, do you understand what they're talking about? You shouldn't be shooting at F22.
I know.
Yeah, you try
I think I was doing some sun flares just before I saw the shadow.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, you probably should, try when you're shooting stuff like this, try to stay around F8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way you're less apt to have this weird focusing issue here.
Okay.
I know we have just a few more images to go, but I want Tori, you're our guest tonight. What I want you to know is that this.
She's not our guest; she's our new member.
Tori's the new member. Okay. What I do need you to know is that in this analysis, it may sound complicated if you're new to photography and have been doing it a little while, but all of this stuff will make sense after you've been here about 4 months.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I take issue with that.
He still hasn't gotten. He's been here for 40 years.
I'm going on 11, 12 years.
Yeah, and while we're talking about diffraction, that is technically the other thing that causes those shadows to be softer, farther away from the object that's casting them than closer. That is also diffraction of the light coming around the object and causing diffraction where light bleeds into where the shadow would be. The farther out the shadow is. That's diffraction as well. It's not lens diffraction. It's actually light ray diffraction happening in the real world.
All right, moving on, guys. It's getting late. This one is the shadow of a photo walk.
Woo!
This is Lee's, and the score is 25.
Man, those are some beautiful sandals.
Lourdes has some nice toes.
What? Hey, what lens was used for this? That looks like
Wide angle.
that looks wide or ultra wide. What was that?
I don't know. It might be the phone because it's 1.57.
1.57. Okay, yeah.
It's
Okay.
probably the phone.
Yeah, probably the wide setting on a cell phone. Okay.
Let's
Yep.
see. I can look
That'll
over
do
here.
All right.
Yep.
Now,
Apple.
Karen, Karen, this one's for you. Lynn, go ahead and go to F on there. Go to full screen. You see how the cameras are defined? Karen, you still with me?
Karen. Woohoo.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you. Yes.
You know, the cameras are defined, the hands are defined, the heads are defined. Everything is defined about this image, which makes it really, really successful.
Yep.
The only thing I would have liked to see is Lourdes' other leg.
Yeah.
He looks a little monopody.
Yeah. So that's what I was referring to about your shadow. Had it been some sort of definition, it would have made it a bit more successful.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to see whether it was a person.
So there's the comparison base.
Yeah. I actually found that specifically very interesting, Lynn, that she posed to make one line,
Yeah.
and Leah, and it made 3 lines, you know, within a triangular formation, and I thought that was actually compositionally very interesting that the fourth, you know, there's not a separate fourth leg in that composition.
Well, yeah, because 3 is a better number than 4 anyway. So, in terms of, you know, balance.
Not when you're dating.
You still only see 2 feet.
It's now we're getting into feng shui photography, right?
Here we go. And this is like a ghost. This one's called The Shadow Within the Shadow. This one's also Lee's, and the score is 25.2.
And that's why Lourdes will never beat him.
Yeah, he comes up with this stuff. I think this was at Amelia Island with the fort.
Yeah, this is very creative, very creative idea and well executed. Very graphic, very strong. Lots of visual impact. Very well done.
Again, using his own shadow as the subject, but you would never know it. Yeah. So looking for, look when you're out there walking around doing stuff. Look for these like bright. It's usually late in the afternoon, early in the morning, where you've got sun shining in a line, and you. Taking my picture of my shadow all the time because I'm like walking downstairs and I see a shadow. Take a picture of it. That's a good thing to have your phone with you all the time because then you can get pictures like that all the time. So, got to be watching for this stuff. Next one is Triple. This one is Lee Wynn's. Score is 22.9.
Gosh, I wish Lee was here. I'd be jumping all over her case. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know why? You give me 2 well-defined, distinct shadows. And go to the third one over there. What are you doing by that convoluted it with all that stuff in the background?
Yeah.
Why?
This was a get it out of the archives kind of shot here. I don't know. I think I would have said,
cut that one off of the right. Let's see what that looks like.
Just do that would be better, I think.
So much better.
I'm going to do my usual plug on getting a cropping class.
You're getting the cropping class tonight.
That's where
with half the images we looked at, you've been getting your cropping class.
Yeah, we're getting a cropping class every time we have this.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, that's you know that, and that's the best way because you're seeing a lot of different aspects of cropping. You know, not just what you've shot, but what everybody else has shot as well. I mean, this one is.
Let me see it with the 2 of them in it, Lynn, just to see. I'm not saying I think it's going to be better or not. I just want to see. Just let me see it.
Oops.
That's better. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It's not because they're going in two different directions, so that's actually quite nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
this
Diana?
up here is a little distracting because it's so much brighter
Yeah.
than all of this.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, and I don't think there's any way to make that. You couldn't even a linear gradient wouldn't make it
Yeah.
look funky. So,
Mhm.
this one.
Content aware fill, tell it more snow.
Yeah.
or generative generative fill. More snow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this one, it's just not a typical Lee Win shot.
Diana, when I first started, Robert would just kill me on cropping. You know, he just would let me know all the time. So what I would have to do is just crop, just crop and just try stuff. And then after a while, you start to see it.
It takes time. All right, next one is Before Sunset.
Ooh,
This
that's
one is
pretty.
also
Shoot, I had a bazillion shots
this
like
is
that.
a 25.5. This is as well.
Whose is that?
This is basically shadows doing what shadows are supposed to do.
Whose shot is that?
This is Lee Wins.
Okay.
Light illuminates, shadows define. These are defining things. I mean, and why is this different than Kathy's picture of the mountains with the shadows on it, Jim?
Ooh. Go ahead, Jim. But after you finish, I'm gonna slap everybody in the face by telling you my thoughts. But go ahead.
Yeah, this works because most of the image is shadow. Less of the image is the actual illuminated part of what's going on. And not only that, this isn't just all the shadows are not equal. There's a gradation of shadows. That front shadow is light, the next shadow is a little darker, the next shadow is darker, you go back, and then the mountains in shadow on the other side are lighter again. You've got all these wonderful gradations, and you have separation. Those shadows don't bleed into each other. Look at that line there. They don't bleed into each other. You have separation defining all the geometric shapes happening in here. And then you've got that little bonus up in the upper right hand corner that you eventually find.
Oh man, Jim, you took it away. Oh man. Oh, come on, dude.
If you could get little people, that's always these massive.
Sorry, I didn't know that's where you were going, Robert.
That's exactly where I was going. That's the icing on the cake, is that they are in shadow.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, guys, when you're out there, and I have always wanted to get the people out of my landscapes, but I finally figured out, and if they have a, it's even better.
Yes.
It's a scale.
Yes.
I could just absolutely shoot myself because here I went and drove Mohan crazy trying to help me with this stupid assignment. And I've got a bazillion of this stuff. And I never thought about it, which is why
I saw you hitting your head just a minute ago.
Yes, that's why.
I knew why.
As a matter of fact,
let's move on. We're running out of time here. Rock Shadow Dancers.
Oh, I like that.
This is Nona's, and the score is 24.9.
This is what I'm talking about. You got this interesting image right here with all this beautiful light and everything. You go like, where the hell is this show? Oh, wow, look at those dancing people down at the bottom.
We intentionally
and that becomes a
did
surprise.
that.
Yeah.
In any type of photography, you have a surprise ending. Whoa.
And you know what? I'm going to give another compliment here, because if you've ever been out west in these areas and stuff, what you'll find is the art on the rock, the petroglyphs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And if you've ever seen some of the human forms in the petroglyphs, this is what they look like. I look at this and it's, not only is it, a great thing, but I look at that and it's like, oh my gosh, the people are posed just like all the images of people I see in petroglyphs out there too, which is another, as we said in the other one, the icing on the cake.
Well, we went there. This is the rock where Peter Lick has a moon rising, and we were hoping for something like that, but I think he must have put the moon in there.
And he got charged for it too.
He got caught doing doing some moon fakery.
It was a lot of
Oh, I hadn't heard
fakery.
that.
I just have a question though with respect to the assignment. It's an obviously spectacular photo, but when I look at it, the first thing I see are those dark red things on the top of the rocks, and I have to look a while before I even notice the shadows.
That's a surprise.
That becomes a great surprise.
Yeah. And that, and you know, and people are part, the people are actually pull your arm. You probably didn't notice because you spend most of your time shooting landscapes, Brian, but the people will pull your eye right away. I didn't even notice those things up top because I saw the people right off the bat. So
The human brain is wired to recognize the human form.
Yep.
We had a lot of fun dancing there.
I'm sure.
Where is this, Nona?
It was down near Tuba City, near Arizona, and it was on a Navajo reservation. We had to hire a Navajo guide to take us out there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that area.
It had amazing stuff, just
Yeah.
amazing.
So again, remember, you can make some cool pictures of yourself with shadows like this. Or the after early morning light. So
Nona,
yeah.
did it occur to you, or was it intentional at all that that they look like petroglyph forms, or was that a happy accident?
I think that was more of a happy accident. We were just making figurines and using our shadows, and we were having a blast doing it. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It's always good when you have fun doing photography.
Yeah.
Get too serious. Ghost Rider. This one is Jan's, and the score is 23-6. And is not here tonight. She's at her son's graduation.
Well, Jan, if you listen to this in a later podcast or broadcast or wherever you listen to it, I'm gonna kill you.
Why?
Because you gave me equal weight on the left and right, where it's on the shadow. If you had more to the left, information to the left without cutting that thing off, then
Yeah,
we
if it had been extended to see the handlebars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too much chopped off.
Gosh, you guys kill me.
And remember, guys, chopping off things, like chopping off legs at the wrong place, is a problem with photography, because it makes the image very disturbing to them. Even if you're not aware of it, it's like, whoa, what's missing? Where is it? You know? So be careful about chopping things off.
There you go. I still love you, Jan.
We all do. All
Robert,
right,
you love all the women.
yeah, stepping out of the shadows. This one is also Jan's. The score is 23.9.
And I still hate you, because if you'd taken 2.5 steps to your right, you would have had a much better shot that didn't show the car and the parking signs out back.
Yep, the signs through there. Yeah, because though this is so graphically strong,
yeah,
but then has the distractions. It's going to be. You would have to do a rotation on it, Lynn. Do a rotation to help get some of that. You're going to have to do a rotation to see if you can get some of that stuff out of there, because there's a picture within a picture here. Yeah, okay, kind of getting there. You know, we still lose a lot. Yeah, we lose a lot of what's there, trying to get the distractions out. But oh my gosh, what was in there had it been recomposed?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so strong, but just too much other stuff going on in the composition.
Can we twist it the other
Take
way
it.
to make them look like skyscrapers?
That's an idea.
And then get rid of the
Oh.
square crop. Like, get rid of the square crop and then tilt it a little more.
Who's talking? Who's saying
You
this?
you could bring the bottom up, Lynn, so that you could stretch it further to the right and try and get that point in. stretch your composition further right, and get that point in. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I like that idea,
That was
Nona.
Diana Cahill.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, good one, Nona.
Nona said that.
That was Nona or Diana?
That was
Which
Diana
one?
Cahill.
Oh, it was Diana. Oh, okay. Yeah,
wasn't
good. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just lurking here with
Good
my
one.
video off, per usual.
Diana? Was that Diana who said that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Diana Cahill. Yeah.
Diana, you better stop, otherwise you're gonna be taking my job.
That's a
That
really
is
Well, I mean,
beautiful.
that's a good lesson. Remember, especially since we took all those pictures, some of us did of the building this past weekend, is don't forget about turning the image.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't forget about turning the image, because it's still shadows. We don't need to know
Wow.
what it's from.
Before you leave that one, tap letter F. I want to see that in full view. Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
And speaking
cool.
of which, if you guys go back to the university, to the same building during the morning, all kinds of shadows on the FYI.
Wow. Diana, you better stop. Don't do that again.
Don't worry. If I had to hold court for 3 hours, I would run out of personality real hard.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one thing Robert doesn't run out of, his personality. All right. We got 8 generals to get through here in 10 minutes. All right. First one is Fish Grabber. This one is Nona's, and the score is 24.
Nona, how'd you hold focus?
Well, the camera was really good at it. So yeah, no, I had it in tracking mode, continuous autofocus in tracking, and it had gone down, and I got the dive, and then with him coming out, I really liked that he was holding the fish with one of his legs and looking right at me.
Yeah.
Nona, here's the deal. I'm gonna let you know what makes this photograph for me. If you look in the lower right-hand section, I have that full wing.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Well, you have to get lucky with that, because that was the actual bottom of the frame. I almost missed the full thing.
Well, that's a great.
And and that one eye in the on the light side of its face in perfect focus, you know, the expression grabs you.
Well, those osprey have those bright yellow eyes, and they're hard to avoid.
Yeah, and it's there's eye contact between the viewer and the bird in this. That's great.
All right, Nona, I'm going to give you one more compliment before we move on.
Okay.
This is a 30 by 40 sitting in the living room over somebody's couch.
Yeah.
Oh, I have ones I like better.
I don't give a flying flip what you like better. I'm commenting on what I see in front of me.
Yeah, I gotta put my Africa ones in there.
I'm just letting you know that this is a really good one to be put over a sofa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As far as people sitting on with this on top of them, wow.
All right, moving on. Next one is Tampa Night with Lens Flare. This is Fong's, and the score is 23.2.
I will say that, and I like Fong's direction of where she's taking her imagery from where Fong had become, where Fong was a while back when Fong got started here.
Yeah.
She's being a bit more bold in her colors and a bit more intentional in her composition. So, yes.
Jim, agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely see she's definitely, branching out, and doing things as we've known her, over the years with what she's been doing. She's expanding her creative horizons, and we're seeing that.
She definitely got the lens flares.
Yeah.
Evidently, she didn't have this available for our lens flare assignment.
I would have liked to have seen more at the top.
Yeah, it's a little chopped off at the top here. The Sykes building is not exactly, all there, but it's okay. Next one is Holding On.
Oh,
I
I
know
know, I know whose that is. I know who that belongs
And
to.
I know who that is.
4.1.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
Wait a minute
looks
now.
like
What,
he's-
what did you say the score was?
24.1.
All right.
Looks like he's driving a stick shift.
Hey, Lynn, can you go in full screen on that?
It is full screen.
It is full screen?
Yeah.
Okay, there's, I think this is a great image. I absolutely love it, and I think you should print it, but if it were me, there's a couple of little white spots on the
Okay.
black whatever he's holding.
Yeah, it's a black background. I probably missed a few. There were quite a few I had to get rid of. So I
No, I'm talking about what he's got his hands around.
Oh,
and
on
I-
here. Oh, right here. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I actually would clone those.
Wow,
out.
that's a good pickup.
Yeah.
She is after your job, Robert. She's after
Nona
it,
has
buddy.
studied the art of critiquing with the Robert and Jim's manual.
I did. I looked through it. So
What is the, just a point of curiosity, what is the frog holding on to, Lynn?
It's a metal rod that has a thing on the top. It's just like a decorative rod that you would like put a plant on or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Stick
probably
shift.
about 2.5 feet long. And that's
Yeah.
the very top. We have to
Okay.
crawl up it.
I really
Okay.
like the way you got both of the eyes in focus too.
Mhm.
Lynn told and said, "Hold on, I got to do some focus stacking here."
Well, and what was funny is I was shooting a Canon.
Which is why that's such a good picture.
Absolutely, Diana.
Because
I'm with you on that one.
I couldn't get the flash trigger to work with my Nikons that she had, so I had to use the lady who owns the frogs. I had to use her Canon camera, which you should have
She had to
seen me
use
trying to figure out how to. Yeah, I'm really surprised anything was in focus.
She had to use a superior camera.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
had
love
a
those
Sony.
little frogs. They're great.
All right, Lynn, next month I'm submitting a frog. So
Okay, I'll
just
leave the
as a
frogs
heads
out.
up.
If you had put one in, I would have taken mine out.
No,
Next
no,
one
no,
is
not at all.
Next one
No,
is
not at all.
okay.
I'm just
Stunning.
giving
This,
you-
hey, we've got to move on. We're getting late. It's next one is Stunning Colors. This is Sue Harvey's, and the score is 20.
Sue. Yeah, I need you to know. I need you to pay attention. We need to work on the focus points.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's destroying it. On both images, it's where you're focusing.
Oops, sorry.
So you don't. There are a couple of things you want to make sure that 3 things you want to make sure you get. You want to get the exposure, you want to get your focus, and you want to get your composition. Either one of those 3 can destroy a photograph.
Yeah, and in this
Hummingbird
case,
love those flowers.
spot to have in focus is the center. So you would ideally want this to be in focus, which it looks to me like this petal is in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing, the white in the
Yeah.
image, when you title the image with color, my eyes being drawn to all the white spots that don't represent color to me. So
When I have that happen, this is what I do. Get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have to show the whole flower. You can just show part of it. And,
Yep.
and that way you don't have to worry about what's in the background. I mean, this is a little dire, but a little like something like that. And that eliminates a lot of that distracting white stuff. So watch your background. And also when you're taking the picture, move around and pay attention to not only what's in your subject, but what's behind your subject.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that a lot. You'll watch me. If you watch me shoot a flower, I am not just standing there I'm going like here, and then I go this way, and then I go up and I go down to try to find the best background for it. Yeah.
Mhm.
With all that said, I'm very glad to be.
Yeah, and as Lynn pointed out, yes, it's easy to get sucked into the thing of the flowers there and trying to encompass the whole flower within the composition. Yeah. But as Lynn just pointed out, you don't always need the whole flower to have a nice geometric composition going on with what's going on. Ring the bell. Cropping school's in session for Diana.
Hey, Sue, do you find that the hummingbirds like that flower a lot?
I do not know. I had never seen one of those flowers
Oh,
before.
they like those flowers, yeah.
Okay.
They like them?
What was that flower?
Chinese
It's a
lantern.
Chinese lantern, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
Okay, next one is Foggy Morning Bridge. This one is Brian's. The score is 22.
All right, turn on your crop tool for me, Lynn.
Cropping school's in.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, yeah, pull from the right. See the big tree on the right?
Yeah.
There's excess weight on that tree, I think. Let me just see without it. I just want to see without it what we have now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's better.
I
Go ahead, Rod.
submitted this photo because I wanted to know how to do this better because it didn't turn out as good as I would have liked. But I thought that those trees on the right gave it more definition and less complete fogness. That was why I left them in.
I think there's more weight with all those trees on the right than the bridge, which is titled as being the subject. The bridge is less prominent than all the trees on the right, so I was taking some of the trees off to give the bridge more prominence.
Okay.
There's excess. It's lopsided with the balance of what's on the right side of the image versus the subject on the left.
This photo does not capture the mood that I saw that day that made me take this photo. I just don't know how to give
I think fog is hard.
Impact.
I think fog is hard to photograph because it has a mood just like you're saying, but I think it's very hard to photograph.
So now color can affect mood. If you might try adding changing the white balance to be a little more blue, so it's more on the cool side.
That's warmth.
Yeah, you could just grab the slider. You can just grab the slider. Whoa, whoa, not that much. Just a little bit of a blue tint. Kind of gives it a little bit more of that of a cool morning emotional feel to it.
Dehazed it just a little bit too, just to give it a little bit more definition.
I did dehaze it some,
yeah.
But I didn't want to remove what was the reason I took the photo.
Right. But that just gives it remember, it's another contrast tool, and it just gives you a little bit more of the bridge, because the bridge is without it is you really can't see very much of the bridge if you start here.
Yeah.
And
I do like this in the cooler rendition. Another thing you can even do, you can desaturate it and take all the color out so it's monochrome, black and white, and then you can still tint the black and white with a cool tint.
Yeah.
I actually like the yellow tint in the trees and then in the bottom left-hand corner as well. I was thinking if you could bring that up a little bit, because just little contrast in there. A little bit
of warmth within the rest of the image being cool.
Yeah, but I liked how you could see some of the yellow in there. I like that a lot.
And you'll see the yellow here.
Lynn, what did you use the dropper on?
I haven't used it. I just started to, and I decided not to. Because you can actually see a little bit of the yellow in there now.
Yeah,
on my end here. I mean, this is
if you go to the color mixer, Lynn, to the sliders.
Yeah.
Just open up the mixer. Yeah. Okay. And then just go down to the luminance and push yellow and orange to the right, and see if that pops out any of that.
That brought the color up a little bit here.
Yeah, and on the left.
Yeah. This is. Do you think this is too dark, Jim?
Could you not bring the shadows up on that?
I would bring that up a little bit. I have no problem with it being dark on that side, but it is a little excessively. Yeah, I would bring it up just a little, but not much. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now it matches even better.
Yeah. Yeah, good job. That was well done.
Good eye, Jim.
I got what I wanted out of submitting this photo. I give a rip about the score.
Well, hey.
Well, then that means I'm not going to comment at all.
Yeah.
All right, next one is sitting by the campfire. This one is also Brian's. The score is 20.2.
Wow.
Fire.
I wasn't sure. That's why I submitted it, but
Where's the campfire?
Yeah, the campfire.
well,
Campfire's behind the camera. That's what's casting the orange light on the on the weeds.
Yeah.
But is there a? I'm curious, Brian. Is there a reason you went with the decision to leave in the airplane trails?
I was gonna, that was my first comment I was gonna make on my own. I went back and forth on that, and I didn't know, if that was an enhancement to it or a detraction, and I guess I just got my answer.
In my opinion, if you had taken out the bright one that's underneath, it almost looks like it could have been a little meteor on the top one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So what is so not good about this one that maybe I'm not aware of?
Oh, I can point out a bunch of things, but Jim is your mentor and I'm not. You bought a Fuji instead of a Sony. So there you go.
Yeah, not so much wrong. Like I say, my eye just does keep jumping to the airplane trails. Yeah,
With this photo.
yeah. I would take those out. And there's some stuff going on. If you where the peak of that pointy peak of the hill is, if you come down below now push up, Lynn, and let me see. Yeah, so there's, right in there, there's some, I don't know what it is that something caught the light. I think it's grass, that some of it's in shadow and some of it's in light. Just right above the orange grass, in where the water meets the tree, there's some distracting elements.
Thank
and there's
you for doing that, Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs the
much better.
foreground. It needs the foreground. I
It
think.
needs the foreground, but it can be bright, but it could be made less bright.
Yeah.
Can you just desaturate the orange?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, because to me, that was kind of the thinking outside the box that I wasn't sure about. It's light that it's not obvious where it comes from in the photo. And I just thought it was, something to try, and oh, well.
Whoever said that it needs the foreground, you're right. But yeah,
I
just
actually like it
desaturated, it's
without.
a whole lot
It was
better.
just too bright, Brian, that's all.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
too bright.
Yeah.
Do a favor. Let me just see something. This is
Yeah.
experimenting again with crop, because we do have the grass on the left side is illuminated, but the grass on the right side is not. Just pull it in and let's just see the image just with the illuminated grass and the pointy mountain.
Would you pull it down from the top a little then with that, Jim, or just leave it?
No, this image is primarily, you're supposed to follow this image up from the foreground to the lake, to the mountain, to the sky. And I have no problem with especially in a night sky, a photo that has, interest in the night sky. I have no problem with that night sky being there. Even on a rule of thirds, this that works with that much sky.
Would you darken the sky at all? Like bring it?
No, I think the sky is fine. And Lynn, I would bring that even more in from the right side and just not have any of that dark. Keep coming right there. Oh yeah, back up a little bit.
I would straighten the shoreline too.
Yeah, bring it out. Yeah, there we go.
That looks better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like what's going on now. Now you can work with these layers of the bright foreground, then you've got the lake, then you've got the dark mountain, then you've got the sky with the clouds and the scars. Now you have foreground working your way to the background in layers.
Right.
You didn't have that with the expanded composition, but you have that with this now.
Okay. Thanks for the input.
There's where we started. There's where we ended up.
Mm.
Big difference.
That's why I submitted it, to find out.
All right, next one is Janelle.
Oh, that's a cool shot.
This one is Leslie's. And the
I
score
like
is
that.
22.5. I know where this is.
Oh, this is a nice monochrome
I like
entry. You've got the full tonal range going on here from black to white and every shade of gray in between, and curves and straight lines and angles and geometric shapes, squares, rectangles. There's so much geometry going on in here, and everything contrasts nicely, and the tonal range is really nice.
Thank
Nice
you.
shot.
Leslie.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
The only thing I think I would have gotten is I would have just chopped
There's
off this little sliver right here.
There's a sliver on the left, yeah.
That's a window, I think.
That's a nitpick, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, this is awesome. I took a shot of this same stairway, but I didn't do this. No.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well chosen perspective.
Yep. I think I was over here when you were shooting this. Shooting at the stairway, and you were shooting the side of it, which was a much smarter move. Okay, last but not least, Lewis and the frog in the fog. It's late, guys. This is Richards, and the score is 23.
Is that Lewis or Louis?
Louis.
Louis.
I figured it would be Louis.
I have a comment on this. I really like the mood of the image. I think if you had just moved a little bit to the left or got this tree on the left, so that it doesn't look like it's cut off, and maybe bring it in on the right and then come down a little bit from the top, that I would like it cropped better that way. But I love the mood of it, and it's hard to get a dog to sit still, because I used to have 4 dogs that this one reminded me of mine. But
That is not a dog. That's a taxidermy.
it's so cute.
I would.
No, French poodles
Yeah.
pose beautifully.
Yeah, and I
Yep,
love the way the legs are separated and not overlapping. each other. Tails up in the air. It's so
Yep.
cute.
Yeah, love the mood and the feel, and the emotion in this, and the exposure. The one, if I were going to print this and put it on a wall, what I'd do is I'd use generative fill and take the 2 dark tire ruts out that are front and back of the dog.
Did you not look at those as leading lines? Because that's what I was thinking. They right there to the
No,
dog.
Past the dog.
I mean, I
because
was asking.
the dog is in a great position diagonally with respect to the sun. The 2 brightest points, you got the bright sun up there, the dog there, and everything. And I don't need those. I don't need the dark tire ruts. They're,
Okay.
yeah. The value of them, that dark value of them, especially the one in front of the dog, is pretty,
Does it kind of
balances
change
it
the mood?
and doesn't feel right with the whole rest of the mood of the rest of the image.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So he would lead those leading lines right off the page.
All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? We're done.
Thank you.
So early. It's only 9:10.
I know, but Lynn likes to rush everything to the fullest extent. And I didn't comment on the last 2, and she didn't even ask me.
Hey, and,
It's getting
and
late.
yeah, and I see Tori and Lori stuck with us to the end.
Yay. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
Boy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Very